All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. The first select board meeting of 2024 for Swanton Selectboard. Welcome everybody who's here and who's online.
Recording in progress.
And as always, the first agenda on the agenda is pledge allegiance. You all join. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda review. Anybody have anything they need to add to the agenda that wasn't ready for the printout?
We just that we have Chief Brenda Gagne here from Amnakis, which you know about.
Yep.
And also the highway budget and the town general fund budget will have to table because they're not ready yet.
Okay, so.
But you want to set up a meeting to do those?
Yeah, we'll still have a discussion on it, or tonight?
A discussion of when we're gonna get together and approve it.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so we gotta reschedule another meeting
Yeah.
specifically for that, all right, so.
And also Swanton Rec Commission, Betsy's not able to attend, so that'll have to also be tabled.
Do we have their finalized budget?
No, it's not finalized yet.
And it won't be until we can,
They're finalizing it this Friday, and then,
so that would be ready, if we schedule a meeting for next week, we'd be all set on that. All right, I'm gonna go off the agenda just a little bit because we do have Chief Brenda Gagne with us tonight. It's a formal, I guess, get together, hello, and introduction from the town to the newly elected chief. Certainly glad to have you here, and you know, it's our intention to work together because we find what the Abnakis bring to Swanton to be very important, and it's always been part of Swanton's history, and you know, I think there's a lot to be gained by us working together.
Thank you.
So if you'd like to share a few words, or
Um,
I don't want to put you on the spot, but
this is all new to me also. I mean, I've been in that community my whole life, and Circle of Courage is something I've done for over 30 years in Swanton. And so we've had thousands of kids come through our program. I'm still leading that. I'm not going to give that up anytime soon. But looking forward to what we're going to be able to do and how we're going to do it and how we can collaborate would be a wonderful thing. So thank you.
I guess I just want you to know that our door is open.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, we've helped with the grants, and you know, we will continue to support your efforts because they benefit Swanton as a whole. A lot of things you're doing, you know, wouldn't get done here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I just want you to know it is appreciated.
Leonie. Thank you in my language.
Does anybody else have anything they?
Well, thank you again. You do such wonderful jobs with the Circle of Courage, and I'm very excited to see what you're going to bring forth to the community as chief. So thank
Appreciate
you.
that, Nicole. Thank you.
Well, we'll be seeing more. You know,
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
and thank you for coming.
Of course.
All right, we'll go on to a more difficult task. Appointment to fill the select board vacancy until March 5th, 2024. We have 4 applicants.
we received 4 letters of interest with the resumes from Mr. Russo, Mr. Joel Clark, Siobhan Cooper, Mr. Alan Letourneau. And you've been sent their resumes and the letters of intent. I believe, I know Nick is here, Joel, and Sean, but I don't see Alan here. But
You don't hear you. Well, I believe that the candidates that are here should make a brief presentation to the board, and if any board members have questions, after they're done, they can ask the questions. The appropriate way to handle this, so
Then we go into executive just
Yeah,
executive session.
executive session to make a decision, yeah.
And rather than have everybody move out.
Well, we'll
wow.
move, yes. So who was the first one on the list?
In alphabetical order, is Nick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Brusso, and I'm a lifelong Swanton resident. I think I have the skills necessary to be a successful select board member. I'm trustee on the Swanton Historical Society, vice president of the Swanton Chamber of Commerce. I've worked for 5 years now for Vermont Health Connect, handling health insurance claims, and I've ran for political office in the past. I'm very involved in Swanton politics, and I would like to be part of the process of the various new solving the problems, and adding to the community. I believe that I would like to be in the process of helping finish up the Swanton Rec Center, and also be involved in seeing if more police coverage for the town. More police coverage as the town is the right direction to go. So I'll try to keep it somewhat short. I would like to, I would be honored to be appointed Swanton Select Board, a member as a Swanton Select Board.
Any board members have any questions? Are you intending on running for office too?
Yes, if appointed, I would run, for sure.
If not appointed, do you still plan on running?
I'm thinking about it. I still have a little bit of time, but I would say I'm in the 50-50 category about that.
Okay. Who's next on the list, Brian?
Joel Clark.
Joel?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to put in a letter of intent, letter of interest. First thing I want to do is correct my letter, because I noticed tonight when I printed it off, I put 15 September instead of December, but still interested, by the way. I think the letter kind of explains it all, so I don't need to go in a lot of detail. Spent many years with the Planning Commission, Zoning Board of Adjustment, which turned into the DRB, Select Board, and did a little bit of road commissioner work as well. Had planned maybe to spend more winters in Tennessee, and so in 2019 I stepped away from the Select Board, and things in life change, and I think I have still more to give, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity, if given that, to serve on the Select Board again.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Nick. Are you planning on running again?
Yes,
Would you run even if you weren't appointed?
I think so. There's 3 vacancies, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so last but not least,
Siobhan.
Siobhan Cooper.
Hello, many of you know me, Siobhan Cooper. I'm a flatlander here in Vermont, but I've made it my home for almost since 2008 now. Raised 3 kids here. I'm passionate about the community, about creating events, about communications, about spreading awareness of things going on, and I really believe in Swanton's motto, of making a vibrant place where people can live, work, play, and etc. Originally I was thinking of honestly going for the village trustees, because I knew a spot was going up, as I told Bill, but I had people approach me and ask me to run for this, so I felt like, okay, I'll do that now, rather than doing the trustees. I wasn't aware there was gonna be a spot open, so it just kinda got thrown in there, and I'm just going with it. Whether or not I get appointed, I'm still going to run. And I just want to do what I do and keep serving as an advocate and volunteer and community member.
Alright, thank you. Anybody have any questions? You already answered mine. Well, then, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Alright, motion's been made and seconded to go into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Alright, we'll be back. We'll entertain a motion to exit executive session.
I will make a motion to exit executive session.
I'll second.
Alright, motion been made to exit, executive session, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. First thing I wanna say is, this is the second time I've had to do this in the last year or so, and it's been a very difficult decision, and, we're, all of us on the board are excited to see that there's interest by people here in Swanton to participate. And I don't want the decision that we're gonna make here tonight to discourage anyone from continuing to participate. Because you're needed. So with that being said, will someone wanna make a motion?
I'd make a motion that we appoint, Joel to the vacant position on the select board,
I'll second.
effective immediately.
Alright. The motion's been made.
She's ready.
Motion's been made and seconded to nominate Joe Clark for the position. Is there any more discussion?
Again, thank you everybody for being here in this room tonight and wanting to be involved in our great community.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
I
Motion carried, Joe got elected, and I just wanna say it, appointed, that's right. I just wanna say to the other people that applied, that are here and not here, that, you know, your continued involvement is very important. And right now, we felt that the experience that Joe could bring to the board with some of the issues we're dealing with, we needed it. And he's been deeply involved with the Moore Valley Rail Trail, and that needs to continue, and with the rec stuff. So it was a difficult decision, and we appreciate your interest very much, and hopefully it'll continue. Thank you for getting involved.
Thank you for hearing us.
Take it, I'm coming up there, I've got to swear in.
He's gone. Required paperwork.
I swear in there or in here?
Any questions on
I guess we could move on to the minutes, because Joel was on board at the time, so it has to be ready.
I already read them. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. For December 19th.
December 19th. Second, alright, motion been made and seconded, Steve seconded. To approve the minutes of 12/19. All those in favor?
I
Alright, motion carried. And I guess we can go on to public comments for anything that is not on the agenda. We'll be doing the Swanton Police Chief's report as soon as Joel gets back.
You're welcome to come take a seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did everybody sign in?
Why, we don't do Kevin, chief?
The name of the house wasn't too bad, but the boys were pretty busy. So, that's two documents around. So this first document that's going around is a summary document for the year. And then, the second one, there you go.
So this, the first one you said was a year?
Alright, so if we start with the month of December, you'll see that Swanton Village Police Department handled 87 incidents in the town. There were 22 traffic stops. Of those 22 traffic stops, 2 tickets were issued, 16 warnings were issued, and 1 arrest was made during traffic enforcement. Actually, it may have been 2. I think in looking at the arrests, it was a DUI and a DLS. So there were 2 arrest charges associated with 2 individuals. And if you look at the top 10 incident types, then 22 traffic stops, 16 property watches, 8 directed patrols, 6 citizen assists, 6 crashes, 6 agency assists, and looks like 3 suspicious calls, 3 controlled substance, 2 noise disturbance, and, or maybe it's 2 controlled substance, 2 noise disturbance. And then in the summary document, you have all the previous months with a lot of the details, so I tried to keep it to a summary. So in total, Swan Village Police Department handled 920 incidents in the town. That's up roughly 27% from last year. In last year's, there was 725 incidents that SVPD handled. Of those 920 incidents, 200 were traffic stops. Comparing that to last year, it's pretty similar to 195 traffic stops.
When you say the town chief, you're talking all of Swanton, or just Swanton Town?
Just the town.
Just the
So,
town.
and again, there may be some, variation as far as the data goes, because the incidents have to be flagged as occurring in the town.
So
So
over and
you,
above the 920, you had the normal activity in the village.
correct, roughly 2,760 incidents in total for the year, for the police
Or
department.
1,800 in the village.
Yeah, I don't know the math on that exactly, but yes, roughly, I believe so, 1,800 roughly. Yeah. So 200 traffic stops this year. During those 200 traffic stops, 72 tickets were issued. That represents roughly 36% of the 200 traffic stops. There were 173 warnings issued during those traffic stops. There were 11 civil tickets issued, and those weren't necessarily associated with traffic. Usually that would be outside, like minor possession of tobacco and that sort of thing. There were 18 arrests related to traffic enforcement, and 43 arrests total. And that's arrested individuals, and that represents 75 arrest charges that occurred in the town over the course of the year. And just to give you some comparison, comparing it to VSP, you'll see a summary down below. Again, Vermont State Police is covering the town 2/3 of the time in any given 24-hour period. They handled 517 incidents, 141 traffic stops. 47 of those traffic stops were on I-89. They issued 35 tickets during those traffic stops and 114 warnings. They had 23 arrests of individuals, which represented 31 arrest charges, and 12 of those arrests were related to traffic enforcement. But it gives you some idea as far as comparison of the work in the town.
And you said there was about 1,900 in the village?
It was, I would have to look at the exact number again, I
Just
wanna say 2,760-ish total. It might have been 59 incidents for the year.
Regarding the arrest and arrest charges, does that mean someone basically gets charged for a couple of things under one arrest?
Correct.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, and I wanted to make that distinction because of that, because you see arrests and doesn't necessarily reflect an individual in each single arrest. Like somebody may be charged with multiple crimes.
Is there any particular thing that dominates those arrests?
No, I mean, I would have to, you have on the back page actually a summary of what those charges were. So, the leading one was driving license criminally suspended. DUI was your second leading one, first offense. There were 3 conspiracy charges, 3 arrests, in-state warrants, 3 impeding, 3 negligent operation charges, 3 drug charges, 3 reckless endangerment, 3 driving under the influence, drugs. Which is getting more and more difficult to prosecute, quite frankly. I mean, it's always been difficult to prosecute to some degree, just because officers aren't really trained. There's very specific training called a DRE certified officer, drug recognition expert. It's very difficult to obtain that certification. Thankfully, we have one officer currently certified, one part-time, and another officer who wants to become certified. But there are very few of them in fact in town.
He's drug arrest. That must be part of some undercover work or whatever you were doing. They weren't just random.
No, they weren't just random. So a lot of it is related to, I mean, obviously the officers are aware of drug activity that's going on, and they specifically try to target that drug activity. It is complicated. It's more time consuming. And these are complicated cases, usually involving drug conspiracies with multiple individuals involved, local individuals who are also involved, and usually involve people from out of state who are the source for these drugs.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
How active is the canine unit in town?
Very active. He's on, regular patrol, and he gets called to assist. Other agencies also on a regular basis, so he does quite a bit of work, both in basically search and rescue style things. He's trafficking certified and drug certified. He's not a patrol dog. So, for example, we would deploy him to try to fight or apprehend somebody.
So the 920 incidents during the year compared to the 517 incidents for the state police, that's during the contracted hours of,
Correct.
right? So it shows that that's the kind of the prime time that incidents tend to happen.
It may or may not, depending on, it also shows some level of proactivity also. Because the officers aren't just purely responding to calls for service, they're also out in the field initiating traffic stops, and then coming across these issues. So it also is a measure of how proactive the officers are. And quite frankly, Vermont State Police is spread so thin, it's no slight to them, but the issue is that they're not necessarily gonna be out there in Swanton the whole time, because they're spread through multiple different municipalities in the northwest corner of Vermont.
Just a question, first of all, I mean, it's a good job, you're certainly keeping things under control. But when I look at what you've done in the town, and what's going on in the village, and then what the state police did, I think I came up with about 4,200 incidents in total. Is that a common number? Is that a good number for a community our size of 6,700 people?
I would really have to take a deeper dive into the data
I'm
and
just
try
curious.
to do a
Just trying to get a
comparison.
feel.
I wanna say, what did I have from last year? We were at a total of 2,352 incidents last year, and I think to some degree that might have been because we changed our systems from Spillman to the Valport system. So the nomenclature changed slightly as far as call types and that sort of thing. I did have a comparison. I looked at the Stowe Police Department. This is last year, again, not this year, and they had about 5,000 incidents that they handled in 2022. They are, my understanding is, if I recall correctly from looking at their agency, there are substantially more officers. They have quite a few more part-timers, and I don't know about full-timers, but a larger agency in total. In that year, they had 148 arrests. They had 1,140 traffic stops, issuing 127 tickets and 952 warnings in those traffic stops. So that would give you some idea that Stowe's a resort town, so it's a little different. Yeah, slightly different community makeup. But it's interesting. I mean, I can tell you from my experience in Burlington, we would handle in general roughly 40,000 calls for service a year. That number was significantly depleted during COVID. It was down to maybe 20,000 and change, partially due to the lack of traffic enforcement. I mean, traffic enforcement almost entirely dropped off. We were doing roughly 6,500 traffic stops per year. When Chief Del Pozo came in, he didn't feel like traffic enforcement directly correlated to traffic safety. he made officers aware of that, and officers almost completely backed off of traffic enforcement to some degree. So I wanna say last year, we had more traffic stops, Swanton Village Police Department did than the Burlington Police Department for 2022. So I would have to look at the data a little more closely, try to find some more comparables. But it would be interesting to compare St. Albans, our neighbor, and see what their numbers look like.
This was a reference point, that's all.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Looking on your arrest charge sheet here, I didn't see any like serious crimes or anything like that. Is it broken down in a different way, or is there just
Shouldn't be, I mean, that should be an all-inclusive, essentially list for the year, as far as the charges go.
not great? Right. It'd be nice if that was 0.
Right, I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
A lot of, unfortunately, other than the traffic-related ones, which generally are proactive, traffic enforcement-related charges. So you do see the leading one is operating with a suspended license, criminally suspended license. And then if you're civilly suspended, obviously it's not a criminal offense, it's just a traffic ticket. But, so I'm sure there's probably quite a few of those tickets involved in the ticket numbers, but also just driving under the influence. So those are more proactive related, whereas some of the more serious crimes, also probably all the drug charges are pretty proactive related. Those are individuals that were specifically targeted related to drug investigations. And then, the rest of the list, you've got one aggravated assault, one simple assault. So not huge numbers as far as that goes, but in since those sort of charges usually relate from us receiving a call and then responding to a call, those situations kind of involved to the point where somebody saying we need to call the police and get the police here to handle the situation.
Okay, got any more questions for the chief?
Quick one, do you still allow, select board members to ride with the officers?
Yes.
Because I would like to go Saturday, if possible.
Okay, I will.
You can check, and if Saturday doesn't work, maybe Thursday.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah, I'll stop in
Try to make that
and see, and, yep,
Yes.
great, thank you.
Okay, thank you, chief.
Thank you for everything.
We have a less busy new year.
We'll see. It's been consistent.
Yeah. Swanton Town Health Officers Report, do we have one this?
Well, it was just, I didn't include it, but it's basically an unfounded complaint because it was not signed. There was an anonymous call that somebody was complaining that included it, that the pictures posted in the village complex on Facebook thought it was a health hazard. So, but that's not the purview of the.
So
Well,
somebody
anyway.
joked.
I guess so, but she sent it, so she
Okay.
did get it, and I
Yeah.
included it, but
All right, then we'll go
other
on.
than that, it was
Yeah. We'll go on to the highway department budget, but we're not gonna talk much about it.
We're tabling it till next week.
Yeah, the only thing is, there's a couple of, one good thing anyways, it looks like between the carryover and what other money we have, especially some of the sidewalk money, that we won't have to budget any for the new truck.
Right. But we're still paying bills, so there's gonna be a
Yeah.
little fine tuning of
So
that
we're not
number.
sure how much it's gonna be, but, we're hoping we're gonna have a little bit over where we can maybe buff our paving up, because we're getting behind because of the price of, but if we get, without blowing the budget apart, it might be possible. But we'll get that scheduled for a meeting next week. Alright, now we got the Swanton Public Library budget.
yeah. And I forwarded out by email, this information, but I got hard copies if anybody would like to take them and pass them around. We met. I'll keep 2 for myself. Everybody gets 2 sheets. And 1 sheet is double-sided.
make sure they don't stick together.
Got 2 sheets here.
You put one down.
Victorious.
I'll give you this.
And what do we do?
I need this stack over here. You can only get one of them. Take this one. And give these ones to Kathy. Thank you. Don't worry, I got you.
Okay, so the total request for the town for 2024 is going to be $70,900. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we have the issue of the salaries. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on the budget, but we did have a discussion about that today. It's still a little bit difficult to understand, but hopefully by the time you have your stuff ready for the printer for Kathy, that it will be in a understandable way. I think we're gonna have a lot more work to do with your accounting to get this to a 12-month calendar year. Anybody have any questions specifically on the budget that they're proposing?
Did I hear you say the calendar year? Are they not doing calendar year right now?
Well, I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
This is a calendar year. The budget that we presented is a calendar year, but we get the money for January through town meeting day in December of the previous year. Current.
Okay, thank you.
So you're getting a payment from the town in December.
Yes.
Is that the balance that's owed to you from 2023's appropriation?
Yes.
So if that's the case, I don't wanna complicate things too much, but so if this is the calendar year for 2024,
Mhm.
was this reduced at all by receiving money in December for January through March?
No, because then we'll still have a chunk next December to push through January through March again.
It's very confusing, Joel,
Do you know what-
something,
Do you know what your carryover is now? And what your expenses are gonna be for January, February?
We have like a rough idea, but, and the carryover's like the last 1,600, I think was the last check, the
16,000.
sorry, yes, 16,000.
So of that will carry over January, February until the after March meeting, but are your expenses that much for 2 months?
There,
I think you.
I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but we pay a lot of things right off in the beginning of the year. Like a lot of our like subscriptions and things renew in January. Like what we pay for the library interface, that renews in January, that's a couple $1,000s. Our accounting stuff goes through in January.
So that would be your software.
And the GMLC, which is a separate, that's the library interface one.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, one thing that we've been talking about in the last couple of meetings, what's the total nut for the library, including this budget here with the salaries and the monies that we expend for minor repairs, not the major repairs? I think it came out, that question's always come up, I think it came up to about $280,000 is what the town actually spends for the library itself. That's all in. And I think that's a good number to kind of watch going forward. It's a lot of money. Well, it's good programs, but you know, I think it came to $268,209, and I think we get another month's of operating, or 2 months of operating expenses going in there, so we'll approach about 285.
Well, I'm not sure how that's all gonna end up working out as far as getting on the 12-month schedule. I'm kind of thinking what's happening is basically the money you're using is rollover money. But it's not, the budget's not, I mean, we have rollover too, and in the general fund, rollover money has to go back into
It's
reduce.
deducted, not to be raised by taxes.
Just seems odd that it's being done that way. I'm not sure how we're gonna rectify that. We need to, I guess we're gonna have to get an accounting here.
Well, the question is how much is the rollover, truly the number, the rollover, and then what are your expenses for January and February to carry you into March? And then basically anything that's left over from that January, February is rollover money from your 2023 budget.
Yeah, but if this budget that we're looking at right here is January 1st to December 31st, when this budget gets approved, they're gonna get all that money back that they had budgeted.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you still need to know actually how much money is left and
Yeah.
how much money expenses they're gonna have for January and February, then there's gonna be money left over, which can be used to offset that.
Yes.
But I think from this afternoon's meeting, which I thought went pretty well, the excess funds left over are gonna be used to cover any shortfall between now and the end of the year. It wasn't just gonna be built up. And we did ask about what kind of monies were in the deposit accounts, the various deposit accounts. And I think there's a pretty close tie-in, so what was spent, what's left over, and we'll just try and we didn't add them up or anything, but they were pretty close. Just a general discussion.
I think we can work it out. I mean, for our purposes, it's okay, it's the calendar year is it, okay, and then we just have to get them adjusted. And I'm sitting here thinking of an idea, and I'll run it by Kathy tomorrow, and I think so when you receive the last payment, when the town sends you the check for the final in December, okay, and you are counting on that to carry you over those 2 months, so. I think we should be able to figure that out. But we aren't gonna change ours, you have to change that, you know.
But that would be considered rollover money.
Well, it would be, yeah.
If you're in a 12-month budget, it's gotta be. Let's see how else you can account for it any other way.
Can you count for, oops, sorry. Can you count for it at the end of 2024? Because there should be, to me, if they're asking for 70,900, and we're giving them money in December, then to me, next December, as they're completing their year, they should have a fair amount to carry over, but at least they'll get them onto the annual January through December. This way, we know they've got enough, but they're probably gonna have a little bit extra.
It's gotta be the double advocate here. Don't take this the wrong way. But they could spend that money too. You don't have to make it go over. They could, you know.
We gotta trust, we have a certain amount of trust in the people who volunteer and who, you know, there's.
Because I know they have plenty of things they could spend money on, that's why I'm saying that, and they're good programs, so, you know, and I don't have a problem with that, but it's just the way things are getting reported, and it's so difficult to figure out what's really there. Nothing's going wrong, but, you know, if people can get the perception that there's some issues here, and, you know, we need to get this straightened out so everybody can understand what's going through, because it's public, you know, it's taxpayers' dollars. So, you know, we're only trying to protect your best interest, really. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with a rollover. Doesn't mean you gotta reduce your budget by that amount. You can just, you know, your budget could go up a little bit, and you'd have that rollover as a cushion. Protect you if you have over expenses, because they do happen occasionally, and it even happens to us. You know, just a better way of budgeting, and the numbers will be right here for everybody to understand.
Yeah, I see it, Earl, as 70,000, so monthly, we're talking between 5,000 and 6,000 a month. So if we're giving them January and February and December, you know, that's 10, 11, 12,000, and when we see their report at the end of 2024, we'll see what they spent compared to what.
But it should be in this report we're looking at now, and it's not. That's the problem. And it's there somewhere in your system, but it's just the way it's not getting reported for some reason.
Once they're on the schedule, we'll be able to see it.
All right, so that's on the budget. Does anybody have a real problem with the request for 70,900? All right, so that there, we generally do motions on those things, Kathy? So that you know. All right, this is just strictly on the request for their operating expenses, 70,900. Somebody wanna make a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve that request for 2024 for the library operating expenses. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now that motion carried. Now we gotta do the salaries. The final request is, you got the sheet here. Basically ends up being 6% or 9,000, a little over $9,000. Split among seven employees. I know we didn't go this high for the rest of the employees. The original quest was about 15, 14 something percent, so they dropped theirs down considerably too. And I don't know, they have, if you want to give your explanation for it.
Sure. Our employees already start out at a lower rate than the other town employees, so we're trying to just get our employees up to an average for library employees in this area. So not actually, this is lower than average still. We're just trying to get semi-comparable.
And you're talking this area, you're talking Franklin County.
Yes. And I sent the report. I'm sure you guys didn't have time to look at it yet, but, but I did send it.
Yeah, it's 49 pages.
That's
I thought it was 102 pages, actually.
Steve?
I think you and your staff did a very good job this afternoon explaining or justifying why you wanted to bring these up. And as I explained to you, everybody's in the same boat. You can't get employees, you can't buy your way out of it by continuing to raise salaries, and I sympathize with you. Everybody's in the same boat. The only issue I have is that we have many of our taxpayers that are not getting a 6% raise this year. And I'm just concerned that we try to maintain some stability in how we apply our salaries. And that's why I had, as I approached this afternoon, an issue with the 6% overall. And again, I understand where you're coming from, trying to bring people up to par and trying to bring in new employees. I'd like to see that come back in closer to what we're doing with all the other employees in our town. I'd like your opinion on that.
well, as I had said earlier, the amount that the rest of the town is getting is fair to the rest of the town because they are already starting out at a higher price point. So our employees make less than people who work at McDonald's, and so we're just trying to get it up to, it's not even an even playing ground, just a more fair playing ground.
And it was discussed by previous boards that this would take place over a course of several years to make sure that we would get those wages for those employees at what would be a fair or livable wage for our area. You know, as of now, they are barely just making over what the new current minimum wage is. And for the quality of things that they're giving to our community, I think the increase projected right here is of good value. And I think it's a way for us to retain those employees, to continue to give those services that they are currently giving to the community.
And to add to that, every single employee on this list also volunteers time within this community, and I think it's really important to maintain those employees that we already have that are already going above and beyond with this increase.
I can definitely see his point of view, which makes sense. The only thing that I'm worried about is like, when you don't have comparable wages, then you tend to seek other places to get those comparable wages, and then those programs and activities, and then we don't have people to run those, and then we don't have them at all, and then the community hurts as a whole, and I just find it to be a very good investment to do it. I mean, I see both sides, that's the tough part, but I think it's a good investment, and I think well deserved, truly.
What do you got, Bill?
How much are we gonna give the library for the payment in January, February roughly?
They won't get a payment in January.
Well, in December, you're saying to cover January and
They've
February.
got the check already, it was sent out in December.
How much roughly?
16,456, I have to look at the exact.
So at that amount, shouldn't we be seeing a carryover of 9,000 or better at the end of 2024?
Yeah, as long as when we get to 2024, we're gonna be paid for January and February, because otherwise that money has to go towards the January and February payment.
You'll get what you asked for. You're gonna get 70,900. So what I'm getting at is we should see a fairly sizable carryover, which would cover this and then some, this increase. So I don't know, and I know Earl, you're saying we don't have control over their
No.
budget, but we could look and say, wait a minute, can we reduce the actual budget to offset this? Because you're gonna get that money in carryover, and that takes care of that increase for 2024.
Are you talking about a bonus or actually fixing the salaries going forward, which is gonna continue on every year?
It would carry into 2025, yes.
But not a one-time bonus from the excess funds?
No, no.
Okay.
We would increase to what they're asking, but really it should be able to cover it by the offset if indeed we've already given them a check.
Yes, they're already covered from, the budget's for January 1st, 2024, December 31st, 2024. They already have the money for January and February to carry them over until the budget's approved. So January and February is already covered, so at the end of the year, they have actually 14 months of budget.
Correct.
Because they have the carryover plus the 12 months of this budget, that's what you're saying.
Right.
So it'll take care of future years.
So that could cover the 2024 increase, and 2025, different story when we look at
Yeah, they should have a role for sure that we reduce the next budget in 2025 and go towards it. But until we can get, your system accountable, we're not, I don't even think you know.
I don't know for sure off the top of my head.
No. So.
But I mean, it's all in the system.
Oh, yeah, I know it is, but, if we're gonna make decisions, we need to have that kind of information, that's the only thing, so that's really gotta be one of your top priorities.
Yeah.
To get that done. You got the bookkeeper and Kathy, I know would be willing to work with them to help make sure that we're getting everything, the way it should be. Because you are gonna have to get another audit too, that's gotta be done. because it's part of the MOU. So I don't know, how did you handle this before? Can we, when the town requests an audit, can we have them do an audit, request one for the library at the same bid, or do we have to?
No, it's separate.
Have to be separate? Then when should those, requests go out for audit?
I'll do it now.
Yeah, we've been working on it, we're actively working on it.
So you put a notice of a request for proposals, or?
We've been reaching out to, the people who did our audit before, and they said that they can do the audit, that they did the town's audits, and then our bookkeeper is actively searching for other people who do audits in the area. And then we'll put it up for bid once we've figured out.
Alright, so we still on salaries, nobody's made a motion one way or the other. Do you wanna go with their request of 6%? I guess we don't really have a lot of choice, do we?
I'll make a motion to accept the salary budget, as a total of $154,416 for 2024.
A second?
We don't have any say over it, right?
Well, I suppose we could cut it, but. The MOU says that that the library trustee set the.
Yeah.
There's been negotiable, I mean, they did back down from 14%.
I'll second it, if that's what it says in the MOU.
Is that correct, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been, the motion been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Okay, then I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We got one nay from Steve, so the motion carried 3-1. All right, you're free to go home. Don't go too far.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Swanton Rec Commission budget, you wanna wait till,
Yeah.
Kathy, not Kathy, but Betsy can come then. Zoning bylaw revision grant update.
Right, we, had applied for a community, grant to pay for the update of the zoning bylaws, which is a $20,000 project. We were not approved for the grant, because we received the planning grant, and they had 4 times the amount of grant requests than they actually had money, so, we were not approved for it. And, so that would have to be, paid for.
Yeah, work has already started on that.
Yes, that's right, and, sent you another bill today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's $20,000 total. Just letting you know.
Okay, so that has to be figured into the general budget then.
Yeah, they,
Of course.
Oh,
I thought you could use the ARPA money.
thought we did.
I don't wanna use the rest of our ARPA money right now. Not until we get a handle on what the cost is gonna be at the
No, that
library,
was your original,
on the library,
your
yeah.
original motion.
Just use the ARPA money, is what you're saying.
Well, I don't recommend it, but that was the plan,
But we can, you put
Well,
it in the
originally,
budget fund.
yeah.
It's fine.
yeah. Okay, so apparently we made a motion at one point in time and said it was gonna come out of the ARPA money.
Well, honestly,
Okay.
it was gonna come out of the ARPA money in anticipation that we
Of the
would get the grant.
Right.
Okay,
But
so
we didn't get
actually
the
we
grant,
didn't
and we
approve.
have been using the ARPA money to pay for it.
But we're in budget season and it would be appropriate if we budget that in the general fund and kept our ARPA money because we don't know what's gonna happen at the library yet.
I think we ought to go either way.
Alright, if somebody wants to make a motion that we're gonna put that 20,000 to cover that planning grant in this year's budget, then make the motion.
And then we put it back into the ARPA fund?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just,
Okay.
it's just an entry.
We put it back in the ARPA fund?
Well, because we've been using the ARPA funds to pay for it, right now.
Okay.
So it's been deducted from our ARPA funds, so now it won't get, it'll go back to the general fund zoning bylaw.
What's the, are we anticipating the ARPA funds zeroing out after the library?
We ain't got the bill on that yet.
I mean, there's still several $100,000 left in ARPA, isn't there?
451 or less.
Or something.
Or something, no, not several hundred.
Well, 400 is several hundred thousand.
But
So that money is in ARPA, is that committed?
No,
No.
Okay, so I mean, the library is, that's already taken out of ARPA at a certain amount, right?
Certain, what we've done so far, actually.
Right. So we may tap into the 400 something if the library goes over, is that what I'm assuming? There's some repair or some contract?
It's a repair for the icing problem,
Yeah.
which is probably gonna be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Right, the insulation and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, we're waiting to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we, until we get the price on that, it's, I would strongly advise we didn't touch that much. So does somebody wanna make a motion that we approve the appropriation of 20,000 to cover the planning, the zoning bylaw update, project? Steve's making the motion, somebody wanna second it?
You can second that.
Okay, then seconded by Nicole, all those, is there any more discussion on
That's
that?
gonna be added into what we asked the taxpayers for
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah.
I guess my only confusion, Earl, or Mr. Chair, is why, if we come out with the library needed more money, are we talking it's gonna be over 400,000?
We don't know, we don't know. And
So we
hopefully-
get to the stage, if we find it some astronomical figure, we build that into the budget.
Well, we
We'll
will,
still
but
have to
I,
probably do
Versus
that too.
adding, when we get the money to cover it now,
And there's some other resources too we're looking at.
to the library, right? Yep.
okay, motion's been made and seconded that we appropriate 20,000 in this year's general fund budget to cover the zoning bylaw updates. Is there any more discussion? Not all those in favor? Okay, motion, did you vote yes, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I'm
Okay,
just.
alright, motion carried.
Longer.
Alright, now, general, you wanna hold off on the general, right?
yes.
Do I
Okay,
set the meeting now?
well, we can do it now, or we can do it under any other necessary business. So, I did have a little discussion today with Brian about that, and we were thinking next Thursday, because Kathy seemed to think that would help.
What's
The
the
question that we had, was it gonna be at night or during the day? Cause we need the board.
You needed the meeting next week just to build it in your time frame for,
Next week, to get it ready, we could probably approve it, if we get all the budgets in and everything, we can actually approve those budgets next Thursday. Because we have to go to print not too longer.
By the 29th.
yeah.
I mean, we have the town, we have the highway, we have the general,
In the library, it's the
yeah,
library.
and the library.
Let's see them too.
No, we already, except for your part, except for our part, that's right, for the town part.
Probably should do it at night, cause some
Okay.
folks that are presenting budgets might
Yep, okay,
have
six,
full-time work, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm available either, but
No, basically, who's gonna be presenting the budgets is,
Well, the rec, if the
Oh, rec,
rec has to
Becky,
come back
yeah.
to the table, Betsy cannot be here.
during the day, yeah, on the 11th.
okay, so you wanna do it for 6 o'clock next Thursday?
That's fine with it.
Alright, then you wanna make a motion that we're gonna have a special budget meeting next Thursday at 6 o'clock?
I'll make a motion to have a special budget meeting next Thursday, the 11th of January at 6 p.m.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made to have that special meeting next week on Thursday at 6 o'clock, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, now we go to the Swanton Fire Department budget.
And
Permission to approach.
Right. There we go.
Do we have room for two up there?
We'll give the new chief his vice chair.
Absolutely. So newly appointed chief, Dan Chevalier. And I am Bill Sheets.
I don't know if
This
I'm
year,
ever-
it's also-
Nice to meet you.
Well, there's people watching at home, you gotta do the right thing, so
Yeah, this is the same.
it's probably the same, it's the same one we sent to
Yeah,
you.
Same one.
Going on that one too, just so
Oh, okay. So this is the breakdown of their activity. So, this-
Mr. Chair, the chief is prepared to do a kind of a quick overview of the year, a quick discussion of the budget, and then obviously we'll answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, go ahead.
So in total for 2023, we had 264 calls, 180 of those were in town, 71 in the village, and only 13 mutual. I gave you a comparison for 2023, 2022, and 2019 to show you kind of where we were lying this year. Car accidents were up, car fires were about the same, fire alarms were up, structure fires were down. Grass fires were down, burn complaints were down compared to last year, road hazards were down. CO calls were up a little bit, there was no hazmat incidents. Med assists have been down. Good intent is kind of average. Mutual aid was only 13 compared to the usual 20, 22 range. Boat rescue calls have doubled. Smoke investigations are down a little bit, and ice water rescues are kind of double as well. So, any questions on that?
What's a good intent mean?
Good intent is anything we deem is not necessarily an actual emergency, but more like somebody's called for assistance, flooded basement or something of that nature. Somebody's, I hate to say cat stuck in a tree, but we actually did that. So, just things that just not emergent without like some assistance, we go out and try to do. So, for the actual budget, it's a marginal to small increase due to insurance. And then the equipment replacement fund. Dispatching went up $1,000, payrolls level funded. We really didn't change a whole lot this year. We actually moved some money around. We decreased our gear replacement fund and increased our truck maintenance or transportation expenses. This would kind of take some heat off that.
So, looks like on the paper it's a 6-point, that's
That's my
increase in last year's budget.
That is correct.
Right. 1% of that is due to the grand list going from 76 to 77 is 1%, and then the 5.5 is adjustments that we.
Is there something, Chief, unusual in 2024, such as dispatching or something that you might not have had this year?
No, like I said, dispatching was just a general increase. We were glad to see it only went up 1,000. We were actually predicting more than that, but that was a really good rate that they were able to lock us in. The contract was signed today.
No, so it wasn't one just big thing that stood out.
Well, the equipment replacement fund, so under capital expenditures near the bottom, from 55 annually to $70,000.
Yeah.
We currently have a balance in that fund of 164K, and we're trying to up it a little bit each year to build for the next equipment replacement cycle.
What do you have to purchase in that one? What's the next big one coming?
Years and years away, so what's your next?
That's a discussion to be had, but it would probably be a little tanker, and I'd like to have half of it already paid for. I'd like to go back to buying trucks at what we were buying them for in 2006, not what they cost them today.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Especially having Heidi as the grant writer. I mean, she was able to find $75,000 for a new truck right now. We're not looking for one, so when we actually go out to look and do a more extensive search, I'm hoping there's more funds available.
What's that revenue thing for merchant, job and economy?
That's a bill question.
There's nothing in the budget, and it's an in and out reporting in 2023, so I don't.
You
I'm
don't
not
know where
sure.
that money came from?
No, I can find out for you. But it's literally, you see the variance match the year to date, so generally that is just, they're doing something with accounting, it is money in, money out. I don't know about that line item, though. I can find out.
There must be some income coming from like vehicle accidents, you must get paid to do those things.
No, we do not charge for vehicle accidents. The only time we would send a bill is if it's a large scale, like a TP unit, leaking fluids, at that scale. We would charge for those, but motor vehicle accidents, we kind of take it as they pay their taxes and visit the service.
You probably could have made your money's worth on all the accidents on 78 this past year.
That's me.
PPE, is that include your breathing apparatus? Or is that?
No, the breathing apparatus is actually gonna wind up being a separate line item you will see later on down the road. PPE is really just the boots, the gear, the helmets, the Nomexes, the ice water rescue suits. The breathing apparatus will actually be a lump sum later on down the road.
Yes, I mean, is that one that it's time to start putting some aside? Because I remember one year there was a big required NFBA purchase, I think, that really put a spike on.
Yeah. So I looked that up the other day, actually, that I don't have to start buying those again in 5 years. So we are technically allowed to use some of the equipment replacement funds as well.
Okay, so that line item can, okay, that's,
I will have to check that, but I believe that's how we did it last time, and then we kind of offset it.
and then this, is this village in, is this all the response, or is this just in the town?
That's the entire response. The
Okay.
town had 180 calls.
I missed that.
So I'm running off the previous sheet spreadsheet. My new one will have it broken down by location and like what percentage of each category belongs to who. And I just haven't made it yet.
Thank you.
So this budget represents an approximate $1.25 increase on a $250,000 budget for all village and town taxpayers.
Okay, anybody else got any questions on the, fire department's budget? We usually make a motion on that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Approve the request for getting a year out.
Just before we,
What?
that's my question.
What?
This is not the final budget.
Oh, it's gonna be less?
The answer is, it's not going up. I gotta make sure the difference, we put in the budget 25,000 for dispatching contract is less than that. I have to make sure this is the amount. So you could do a not to exceed, and that would be an appropriate motion, but it could be $2,500 less than this, which is gonna be negligible, but it's gonna be less.
So you don't anticipate it being any more, you're thinking it's gonna be less?
Correct.
When will
You
it
could
be
say
approved?
not to exceed. It'll be approved by the trustees at the very next budget meeting, which is, top of my head,
10, no, 9.
yeah, 9th.
Yeah.
Thank you, the 8th.
So we can, I guess we can do it that way for now, and not to exceed this.
And then you just send us the numbers,
Yes.
send Brian the number.
Yep.
Okay, so who wants to make the motion?
I already did. Make a motion to not exceed 296, 260.
I'll second his amended motion.
Alright, you get that, Christina, the amount? Okay, motion's been made and seconded to, approve the, fire department's, request for 2024. Any more discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Can I just make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I don't think we can thank your volunteers enough. If we had to pay for a full-time fire department, this budget would be minuscule. So, Debbie and I went up one afternoon and toured the facility, and I was quite impressed with the enthusiasm of your firefighters, and so, great, and you too, a great amount of thanks goes out to all the volunteer work that you're doing.
Thank you. I'll make sure that they get told that.
Thank you.
Certainly is appreciated. But we'll go right on to the police, that's more interesting.
More interesting.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's,
Talking 475 over 196.
No.
Right, I just, so you want that number?
Mr. Chair, if you're ready, I can walk us through the, so here's the largest cost drivers for this new contract, which impacts the village, and then of course, the contract that impacts the town. Dispatch, first time ever, introductory offer, $65,000 a year. So that's new. Previously, it was Vermont State Police for free. We've already switched, and the chief can articulate this better than I can because he's hearing it, but the responses that we're getting from dispatch when you pay for it are much more effective and timely. Is it fair to say?
Yes.
We are looking, as a reminder, to add 2 additional positions full-time to the police department, pending approval of the village budget and the town adoption of the contract for 70 hours. That includes a patrol position and a full-time administrative assistant. Those are impacting the budget for approximately 7 months. So by the time we get them hired, you'd be talking about 7 months of total time. Significant change in retirement calculations for Beamers, our retirement plan. The officers have gone from Group C to Group B. Much more advantageous. Did I get it right? B. Sorry, the other way. B. We are also, for the very first time, paying shift differential, and we're paying on-call pay. So as a reminder, we have no coverage for 4 to 5 hours, depending on the shift, the day. So we now will be paying 2 people, night shift and day shift, to be on call so that they respond. And then again, well, this time they received a modest pay increase of 3.2% across the board. We have made a concerted effort in the past year to bring salaries up to include the chiefs to comparable salary rates with neighboring agencies, in particular St. Albans City PD. So big increase. Policing is not cheap. The easy estimation is that the 10-hour contract truly represents 1/3 of all patrol shifts by our organization. So that's the structure for the suggested contract, is 1/3 of all police department expenses: liability, insurance, workers' comp, the chief's time, admin time, straight across the board.
It would be 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yes. Yes.
What will those hours be?
4 to 2.
4 to 2.
Yeah, to mirror what we're currently doing. Questions?
I also see a substantial increase in your conventions, meetings, and trainings.
Yes.
What are those types of expenses and?
Go ahead.
Essentially training expenses, so you can see, if you look at the 2022 budget, it was at $2,600. Quite frankly, if you send an officer out of state for a week-long training, that consumes the whole budget in one training. So it's completely inadequate if you want really a modern, well-trained police department, which is what we're striving for.
Any specific training that you guys are looking to do to help?
No, but for example, I think I want to say right before the meeting tonight, I was looking at the negotiation school that South Burlington Police Department's hosting in February, and I want to say the price was around $790 for a week-long negotiator school. So even there, I mean, you're not paying for lodging or anything like that. The officer would commute back and forth, but still the price of training is substantial. So that's really the increase there. I mean, if we have 8 officers, I'd like to provide each of them with the opportunity to receive high-quality training And we do a lot of in-house training also, so we've definitely progressed a lot with use of force. I just had our officers trained at Burlington Police Department with some really advanced races survival tactics, techniques, which is free of charge. So we leverage things like that, and we do a lot of in-house training also to the best of our ability, which is a struggle with staffing, quite frankly, also. I mean, we oftentimes we're covering training with overtime, because we just can't, officers will have to attend training and then work a regular shift after that training. So,
Okay, this says for 12 months ended Sunday, December 31st, but that can't be right. I thought we were on July to July.
No, so you are on, the contract, town contract runs, because we have a current contract that does not expire until March 31st. This annual contract is from April 1st of 2024 to March 31st of 2025.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I was thinking July for some reason.
Be free to ask questions, Mr. Chair.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I realize is the increase in hours, significant increase with dispatch, right? 65,000, I think was the number you threw out.
Yes.
And then some much needed admin. One other officer.
Yep.
Getting the salaries to where they should be,
Correct.
or closer to where they should be probably.
Yeah, well, no, I think we're competitive now when you add shift differential and on-call pay, and we're fully staffed for a reason. We're treating them like the professionals that they are. Finally.
Very, very much so. They do a great job. So this is 2024, an
Correct.
increase, a significant increase. And
Yes.
I'm gonna throw out my calculation, I think it's 141%. I understand why, fully support getting that police department to where it needs to be. My follow-on question though is, notwithstanding anything regarding a facility, what are we looking at in 2025? Is there any unexpected, like dispatch gonna change again?
Who knows? We have an annual contract. I think it's gonna be fair. It's never gonna go down.
Not understand that.
So, we did build in the first 3 months, this 475 includes a 10% additional cost for the first 3 months of calendar year 2025. That's part of the contract. There are no other unknowns that I am aware of at this
As
point.
far as like salary, that'd be closer to, because now you're budgeting for what you think is the right size department.
Correct. That's right.
So salary increases next year would be closer to, 2-3% or
So
something
they're
related.
3.2 this year. So
Right.
we
Something
paid-
in that range.
Yeah, and so your 141, I assume you're basing that off the prior contract.
What I see here is the 2023 appropriation of 196, which I think this
Correct.
came from Brian's
Yes.
number.
Yes.
And I look at the town contracts at 475.
We were providing you a contract that was not consistent with the benefits that you were getting.
No, and you've
So-
explained that
so
pretty well
that-
at some
so
of the
that-
different meetings we had, so.
Comparison, I
But in
get
all
it.
fairness, I gotta
Yeah.
talk to the folks who are gonna ask me,
Mhm. For sure.
what is the
Yes.
increase? And I wanna be able to give them good
Right.
things, like, not,
Yes.
when I say good things,
Yeah.
factual statements
Yes.
of $65,000 increase
Right.
in dispatch alone, that's significant. When you're looking at a budget originally, just that alone would have been a 30-something% increase over the current contract.
Correct. Yes.
And you're trying to staff
Right.
what is needed for the level of service we get, for all the
Yes.
responses we saw
Yep.
earlier from the police chief.
Adding the one full-time patrol and adding the one full-time administrative assistant makes us fully staffed to meet the needs for the village and the 70-hour contract for the town.
Thank you.
Also, if I may, in addition to the dispatching, which is a brand new expense, your health insurance, like health
Yeah.
insurances are noted to you quite a hit.
Yes.
So that really is out of everyone's control, we all know. So the dispatch, the insurance and whatnot, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a 70,000 increase in insurance alone.
Yeah.
Huge.
and the retirement was a fairly substantial increase.
It is.
And if you look at the 2023 budget for policing, we're already over it.
Yeah, I see,
Yeah.
way over.
We saw that, yeah.
Joel, where did you get your, this is what they're gonna bill us, the 475,057. That's our new contract.
Yeah.
Where did you get your number from last year? I can't see it.
The 196.
You don't have it?
It's in your agenda.
No.
It's, must be in the
Yeah,
agenda.
look
This
at
is
your-
probably what he emailed earlier.
Okay.
196,
196,
74.
74 is what.
Yeah.
But that also is,
So in order to go to the 70 hours and, extra coverage, you had to hire one more patrol officer and one more admin.
Well, we
person.
have no administrative assistant. We have 1 4 to 6 hour a week. And the chief, he won't say this, but we have to stop, allowing him to work 60 hours a week covering shifts, or he's not gonna be our police chief much longer. So that appropriately staffs us to not only meet the contract, but that we can actually have all the shifts covered with normal staffing ratios.
And what we use as a rough estimate per employee is roughly $100,000 for pay and benefits. So if you think of it, even the 196 doesn't entirely cover 2 officers, which at a bare minimum would be required to cover the town contract. And that's not including any other expenses.
And for point of clarification, I think, because I've heard it said numerous times, the trustees, we're not in any rush to have any determination on mirrored police coverage. That's a year away. That's 2025.
Yeah.
We need to have a conversation, and in fairness to our village voters, we need to have a conversation to determine whether or not the select board is gonna move forward with an article representing this contract. That's what we need to know.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, there are a lot of things up in the air on for next year, that's for sure.
Yep.
But I don't know, I guess what's the feeling? I mean, there's not a lot of options out there. There are options, but not a lot. It's gone up quite a bit, but we are gonna pick up some additional coverage. I believe it was like 8 cents on the tax rate now, about 5 cent increase on the tax rate. In fact, what we figure on that, right?
Let's see here. Right now, in 2023, it was, our tax rate for police was, 0.364, and with this increase, we came up to my office would be, 8.6 cents.
Yeah. About 5 cent increase.
5 cent increase.
On a $350,000 home, what would that amount to?
Well, I got it, 250,000 would be $215
A year,
a year,
$20 a month.
total, not increase.
So it's about, yeah, I get about 100.
Yeah, your number must be a little bit off.
For $300,000.
5 times 20, 25 should only be $125 increase.
So I think he said total, yeah,
Total.
he said
The
total.
total, oh, you're
He
talking,
said
that's
total.
right, total, okay, yeah.
And, so, yeah, that's, 215 total.
What would it be this year, next year versus this year? Just the difference.
Well, this year would be the same house was, be $91 and 215.
100 and something.
134.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 124.
So under 24, so that's about $10 of difference for that price, that home.
On 250,000.
Would you like the comparison for what the village residents are gonna pay?
Like,
$250,000 house, 1,513.
yeah, I came up with even 1,500, so.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And doesn't seem like there's a lot of people in town that feel they can afford to pay that much, but I don't understand how the village people can afford to pay that much.
They pay $1,200 and change now. I think they've become accustomed to the services that we provide.
Yeah, but when you don't have money, you don't have money, I don't care about what you provide, you know.
Yeah.
You can't leave it, you can't get blood on the stone.
How much-
Well-
How much do they get refunded from the state through the rebate program?
We don't know.
You don't know.
Those are
How much,
confidential.
let's say
But
last
they
year.
can't.
How
They,
about last year?
that municipal tax calculates into that
Yeah,
refund.
so would it be 15%, 30%?
It varies from every house.
Every house is
Incomes are
different.
different.
We would
Oh,
never
Oh, I
know.
know, I realize that.
Yeah, it's impossible to get that.
Well, we'll get back to the issue, and that is, do we wanna approve this, appropriation for police coverage in 2024? They need to know that, so your guys can finish up your budget and stuff. So
I think you said it earlier, Mr. Chair, we really don't have any choice.
be,
But on the other hand, we've got very, very good police coverage.
yeah, we do.
You know, so I guess we're getting what we're paying for, but now we're paying more. Coverage is excellent.
I tend to agree that there are not a lot of other choices, and the service we have is very good. We put together a very factual budget of what the requirement is and what the change is, and it gets it up to a level that it should be at, and probably should have been at for a few years and hasn't been. And hopefully they can hire the manpower to make this all come to fruition. I personally want to keep the coverage, you know,
Okay.
8, which is increased to 10, but I definitely, for the town and for the residents of the town, want to continue with a 10-hour coverage for 2024.
Yeah, a lot of it's out of our control, it's out of anybody's control. That's you just gotta kind of chew it, unfortunately.
I think it's very important to keep this contract with the Swanton Village Police Department. I mean, some of these expenses are things that are just going to go up anyways with the cost of things increasing elsewhere. You know, it's confusing enough to the town or to the taxpayers, town and village. I mean, to have to call another agency for law enforcement would just be further confusion, I think. And I know I'm for one, I'm very happy with the services they provide.
Okay, so I guess somebody make the motion and we can move on.
I'll make a motion.
Second it too.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to
Seconded
approve.
that.
Steve.
Steve seconded.
Thank you.
Okay, for the amount of $475,057 for police coverage from March 31st, is that it?
April
April 1st to March 31st of 2024 and 25. Okay, motion's been made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd just like to also add my 2 cents about dispatch. And Missisquoi Rescue is going back to Central St. Albans soon, if they haven't already.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Everybody, fire, police, and rescue are all the same dispatch.
Agreed.
So that they have to get, it's instant communication all the way around, so, good move, right?
Alright. So, I guess that's it for tonight. We're gonna have a public hearing on, January 10th for the town residents to discuss the future of policing for Swanton Town residents and how they feel about it. And, I hope that'll give us all some good information, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening, happy New Year.
You also.
Have a good evening, Adam.
Take care.
Yeah.
I was quiet. I was quiet.
Didn't even know. Community in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I'm staring at it. See that, see that?
Okay, we'll move on to community and economic development. Did you have anything specific on that?
Not really due to the holidays and busy with budget and trying to get things going, but I haven't forgotten it. And I haven't heard anything more about the revolving loan fund, but we're not doing.
Yeah, we're gonna need to, find out about that, and, still, Steve and I, we need to get together to put together some kinda, and I don't know about, have you got any schedule this week where we could spend an hour or so?
I can find it somehow, I don't know what it is.
I think Thursday would be bad for me, but Wednesday and Friday, I know I could get in here, you know, after 11 or something like that.
I'll give you a call in the morning.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. And that's what we wanna do, is put together something that we can bring to, Tim Smith, see how to go forward with this southern road system. We need to get over that through Christmas, because I was kinda down and out there for a while. Alright, is there any other necessary business? Look like we got some more liquor licenses to approve, is that correct, Kathy? So someone will have to make a motion to exit this and enter that.
I make a motion to exit our regular select board meeting and enter into our liquor control board meeting at 7:37 p.m.
I'll second, go ahead.
Second, alright, motion's been made and seconded to enter into the liquor control, part of the meeting, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, we have one license or more?
Yeah, one license, second class license for, it's A and B Brothers, but it's the old Sam Marie building. Store on the
Okay.
corner. And then one tobacco license and one tobacco substitute endorsement, and they've had no issues.
None of them.
Not had any.
Where are they located, Kathy?
The old
St.
St.
Mary's.
Old St. Marie.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion been made to approve, anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion been made to approve and second the liquor and tobacco licenses
Two tobacco, yeah.
for is it A and A Brothers?
A and A Brothers LLC.
A and A Brothers LLC. So, all those in favor?
Alright,
Alright, motion carried. So now we can,
I make a motion to exit liquor control board and enter back into our regularly scheduled select board meeting.
I'll second.
alright. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, we're back into our regular meeting. We've got correspondence, do you have much?
Just one brief, matter for, 11 or 12 years anyhow. The custodial work for this building has been handled by Tanya Dufresne, Kathy's assistant. And she gave her resignation from that position, today, effective immediately. She's taken it's informing of the decision to resign from my position as a cleaner for the Swanton Town office effective immediately. She expresses her gratitude for the opportunity that was given to her, but she's now working a part-time job on weekends and does not have time to clean the office, which is understandable. She sent me some information as to what she had for a contract and what spelled out what the job was involved. I was planning on sending that out internally to any other town employee that may wish to do it. They're paid, compensated separately for it. If there's no bids on it, anybody interested in it, I'll have to put it out RFP, and we're probably not gonna do it as cheap as what Tanya has done it.
How many
So,
hours a week?
oh, probably 2 to 3 hours a week. And then there's, let's say 2 hours, all depends how fast somebody can move. But she's got a thing listed out what she does. And then there would be additional work, like in the spring, to wash the windows.
All she spends a week is,
Couple of hours,
that's a good job.
Yeah, but Bo, her husband helps
Well,
her.
he does come in to help.
And then she does midweek cleaning and then
Yeah.
weekend cleaning.
Right. So, but,
It's more than that.
So you'd have to have somebody come in twice a week, right? at a minimum.
I don't know, yeah.
Cause when she's here
It
during
depends,
the
because
day.
during the week, you can see if there's anything going on that needs to be cleaned
Right,
yeah.
and taken
See.
care of, so
Yeah.
here, so. Otherwise, they have to wait till the weekend.
So,
Well, so you'll have to get help, you're not gonna wait too long for people to make up their mind and turn
no,
over.
it will like a week, at the end of this week.
Yeah,
Say Monday morning, let
Yeah.
me know by Monday morning, then
Yeah.
have it ready
So
to
we're
go.
gonna need to know if we have to budget
say,
additional funds.
Might need to add a little
Yeah.
to the line item.
I'm sure we probably will.
well, I mean, we budgeted funds for it, we paid Tanya for doing it.
Right, but
But she gets paid a third, but someone else would get paid.
Right.
Yeah.
especially if you're gonna go with a contracted business, you're gonna need somebody who's licensed and insured, which is
Sure,
gonna
yeah.
cost way more money.
Yeah.
Just by viewing what they're, charging at the library, I mean.
No end in sight, is there?
We could nominate Kevin Nichols, I think he'd be.
Anything else on that, correspondence?
That's it.
That's it?
You know, she handed me that this morning, and I thought she was my letter of resignation. I said, from what?
Okay, so then we'll go on to public comment. Is there any other public comment now that's not on the agenda? Again, one more time. Did you have something,
Yes,
John?
I do, in general, just wondering if we wanna revisit, I guess first, maybe some more information on the Fourth Street project. What's going on with that I may not be aware of, and if it isn't going anywhere, we wanna reconsider selling that piece of property and or donating it to the school.
Yeah, Brian can give you an update on where we're at.
Okay, we've, it's been a labor of love.
For some.
We have been I've been trying to get the Brownsfield, money to, get additional testing that's now required by the state that wasn't originally required, but it is now required. Anyways, it's been deemed ineligible for the brownfields funding. So I'm going to be putting in a dollar amount in the budget to have that testing done. And we'll put out an RFP. And then, of course, after the testing, there's going to be the remediation, assuming if they find something. And then we hope that by spring, the testing will be done, and if it's okay and no remediation needed, then it'll go to the rec department to whatever the plans are there. If remediation has to be done, well, we'll have to figure out what an estimate is of that and deal with that. So no, it's still actively, we're trying to get it into some sort of rec field.
Yeah, something's gonna become of it, but we gotta do that brownfield issue, and it's been dragging, they went through the same thing with the bridge, I mean, it's crazy, but, we gotta go through it.
It's just been years at this point with nothing happening there. And, the fact that we walked away from $110,000 of a sale price, but if you look at the increased tax base that we would have had, minimum, say 10 to 15,000 tax base that would have been built off 8 apartments that were proposed for the site. Additional water sewer expense that the town would have gathered, in addition to the village would have gathered in addition to the electricity bill. We're looking at about a $30,000 loss of income for the village at that point and the town for tax. It's a combo of the two. So it would have brought us up to about $200,000 right now that we would have gained in this period of time between the sale at the time and the move forward. So at what point do we go, okay, this is going to go somewhere and it's going to be useful for the town, or do we go, we gave it a shot, here we are multiple years later with no additional plan, and it seems like we're really focusing on new infrastructure down at the rec site, which is a good thing, right? We need things in this town. But if we're gonna focus our energy there, is it viable to continue to hold on to that? And I'm just giving food for thought for a way forward down the road. I know people like Joel have put a ton of time into that site, and they're looking into, and many members of the community have put a lot of energy to Winters and so on, and many more have put a lot of energy into seeing what could possibly be done on that 4th Street site. But if we decided not to sell it after a decade plus of it being on the market, we could also reconsider going back to that mindset if we're gonna refocus all of our energy down to the rec department area for town recreation and things like that. So it's just some things to think about going forward. Obviously not looking for an answer of any sort today, just some food for thought in the future.
Yeah, we gotta address that brownfield issue and, something's gonna have to be done with it, no question about it. Go ahead, Sean.
Can I ask, how large is that piece of land there?
It's pretty small and it's a pie shape.
I couldn't
Yeah.
hear it.
A little over an acre.
So it
Sorry.
wouldn't, no, thank you. It wouldn't fall under that new 3-acre stormwater rules, so if you kept it, you wouldn't have to do the new stormwater stuff like the 120, is it 120 First Street for that place?
I don't believe so, but I don't, anyone's guess on stormwater, really. It's,
I'd actually suggest, Mr. Chair, that we put that on the agenda for the next meeting. Or just the whole brownfield and the funding of the brownfield.
Yeah,
This has
well,
been
we're gonna
going
have
on
it
all
done,
time.
we're gonna do it in the
Yeah.
budget, so that'll have to go on that Thursday meeting. Next Thursday.
Yeah.
That's part of
Okay.
the budget discussion, yes.
Okay.
It's gonna have to be on there because we're gonna have to do something with it. One way or the other.
And then in addition to public comment, just an update from the rec department as something new for 2024, just to make sure everybody stays in tune to what we're doing. I made you a little list of things that are going on at the rec department.
Is it only one page for Earl?
Yeah, one page, double-sided.
I just didn't wanna make sure it didn't stick them together.
And for the public, I did print off some extra if you'd like to take it. We've got if you're a member of our membership, you would have gotten it in your email box today. A lot of really great things coming out of the rec department for 2024.
You gonna be able to get that on the town website too, Christina?
Where do you want it?
Put it under
And I
news.
can send it to you digitally.
Put it under news.
I'd also like to,
What's that?
police commissioner until we do a reorganization.
Oh, yes, we did. Ed used to be the select board police commissioner. Liaison with the, police department and, Cody brought that up. And that he would like to do that for the select board now, at least until reorganization in, after town meeting time. So what's, the rest?
Make a motion to appoint Cody to police commissioner until reorganization in March.
I'll second it.
Alright, so the motion been made and seconded that Cody be police commissioner until town meeting, after town meeting. Is there any discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, congratulations.
I got a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
We have the meeting, which you're gonna announce here in just a minute under upcoming events. We're gonna get a chance to review whatever presentation we're putting out prior to the meeting.
well, I didn't have a chance because we had too much stuff, but I did want, Brian was gonna put together a PowerPoint.
Yep.
Now, what that is gonna contain, is something we could discuss right now. If anybody's got any thoughts on it, and I believe Brian, you're gonna have to try to get this done, so maybe we can look at it over the weekend, what you're gonna do, and then come back with comments, you know, could email out what he, what would be presented as a PowerPoint. And then, then we could have discussion, but we gotta put some stuff out there. So what do you think should be presented? And I wanna get a lot into the actual proposal from the village. I'd rather keep the discussion as much as we can on what people feel is needed for the town residents.
Yeah, that's good discussion, but any discussion, the first thing they're gonna ask is, what's it gonna cost us?
Well, that's the thing.
So I mean, the one thing that we saw tonight, and we've got the figures of what 10 hours a day are gonna cost us for beginning 1 April 2024.
Well, we got a good idea what's gonna cost if we go with mirrored coverage under their proposal, we know that too, but,
Well, I think we need to get that factually from them. I know they've had other meetings and things, and they finally have come up with this
That
budget,
budget, yeah.
so we should have that number from them that estimates, either that or we say we're not prepared to talk about it because we don't even know if the building is gonna come through.
That's right.
So
That's
there's
right.
mirror
I mean, yeah,
coverage, there's
that's
mirror
right.
coverage with, there's mirror coverage without,
That's right.
and those are important numbers if we're gonna even talk
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
to people on the 10th, because
Right.
that's one of the first things they're gonna ask.
So weren't we planning to put the projected cost?
Yes, the
including-
projected cost, we've
inclusive of the
already
new
got a
building
bunch
and
of
the
that.
amortization, so we will have some number, knowing that it's gonna change, I mean, it's nothing static.
Yeah, we got, Christina knows how to get it out of there too. Cause we found it today, the original proposal.
So I'll have the PowerPoint
Yeah.
of what existing, what we got, what you've approved for tonight, it'll be next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Then going forward, Lynn had told me in the email that came, she sent this stuff to me, that 2025's figure 5% increase. Because even if the building, if they got a positive vote and everything was a go, they're still not gonna be ready with that. That building's gonna take a while to construct.
Yeah.
And then going forward, when you basically would, if you went with mirror coverage, and then if we can use an estimated cost, including the rent or the occupancy charge of the building. I don't think that we need, when this meeting, it is not our project.
No.
The building is a village project, and we should not be making any comments about that building, because we don't know.
No, but we do have an idea what it
We
would
have what
cost.
the cost would be from the information they've given us, but if they're asking specifics on what contains the building,
You know. And
so
I
that's-
suspect, I mean, if people really feel we should, that police coverage is important, I think that's probably what the majority of people are gonna think. Then, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the village bond vote, and then we'll have to go from there and probably try to work out some better deal with the village and what is being proposed now, or more affordable, I should say. I don't think there's any question that you're gonna have to upgrade the police department duty.
Even if it's a small
Right,
facility just for them,
right,
I totally understand.
I would support that.
Yeah. And I think people would, and maybe, but it's gonna be, up to the voters and, to make the decision so the board's going the right way. And they, it's really up to them, and I just want people in the town to understand what it's all about, and I want to hear from them what they feel they would be comfortable with. And, if they feel that they're comfortable with what we're doing now, then do we wanna take on a lot more expense? If people are happy with what we're getting, I don't know, But it's their decision.
I also think the taxpayers, this incident analysis is
That
a
needs to be
very
part of
useful
it.
tool,
Yeah,
and
I
I
know.
think the taxpayers need to see this so they can have a better understanding of the service that they're getting.
Yeah, that year-end thing needs to be
Yeah,
one of your
level of
PowerPoint
activity.
presentations.
Because
Yeah.
some people still, I gather have the feeling that there's no presence here. And I think that's drastically changed in the last year. I think the Swanton Village Police Department is more present in the town, but I think having an understanding of what they're responding to is gonna be very informative to people in attendance, so that they can make the best decision,
The thing looking at this data that they provided, this doesn't give the whole story. The chief explained to us very good about some of the drug issues in a previous meeting, this one here is not stated to that level, and I just think we gotta be real careful with what the data is we put out there.
Well, what's happening right now is our chief is being tasked with a lot of the basic administrative tasks. And the one thing that I was super supportive of the second I heard it was administrative assistant of his. Whether we need another trooper or police officer at this point, I can't state to that. But when you take somebody who's the top of the tier, who really needs to make big decisions, and there's people here who've had administrative assistants and worked in those executive positions in the past that realize that when you're gonna make the big decisions all the time, but you're working on all the mundane, basic things that have to happen all the time, and you're staying later, and that's clouding up your mind, you're not able to make the big decisions, nor are you able to manage your force proactively by spending more time on the ground in the community and with the other police officers in the community because they're doing all those administrative tasks. That alone, that position, I think is crucial. And I think we all agree that this police station is inadequate for their needs now. I don't know if we're gonna end up with a $19 million building, I highly doubt that. That said, you know, a standalone police station, you think the police station that we're using now is the same police station we had 25 years ago. It's the same space they had 25 years ago when you had Bang Nosh, Eugene Rich, and Fred Beck here, right? You literally had 3 or 4 police officers with 1 cruiser. Look what we have now, and it's not effective. And I've heard the stance of, well, it's good to have them co-located with the other village employees. I think it's just the opposite. I would want them close but away from there, because if there's a major incident, you don't want them breaking into the rest of the building and going from there. You want that police force separate but close. So, you know.
Yeah, we gotta have more discussion, but, you know, we got time to do it. I mean, we've got time to do it, so, and hopefully in the end, we're gonna do something that's gonna have a long-term positive effect on Swan, and, you know, we won't have to deal with this issue on a yearly basis or a contentious basis either.
But as a board, we have to be prepared to, I'm not gonna try to predict what the discussion's gonna be like, although
Yeah.
we probably have a pretty good idea. But if we get a good turnout, which I think we're going to,
Well, I think
and
so
it's
too.
perfectly clear that they do not want this new expense, then as a board, we don't need to put it out
That's right.
for a vote, or do we?
Yeah.
You know, but then the village is gonna say, well, if the select board is not interested in the 24/7, that's gonna change their plans drastically, I would think, because they can't pass all that on to the village taxpayers.
Well, they plan on warning that bond.
Yep, yeah.
So if the village voted, go ahead.
But look, everything I've learned so far is that even if the contract doesn't go through with the town for 2025, the village is putting that to a vote in March for the facility. So then, right now as it stands, it's lowered. If, you know, the town comes into it for 2025, village will pay less. But if the town doesn't go into that contract, village will pay the difference, and they'll pay more.
Well, they walk.
I just want to throw this out there too. I know it's been mentioned, talking about the future of policing, and they talked about the space, and I agree they need the space. But I think it was Bill Sheets mentioned, you know, that the worry that if they don't have the space, that they're going to lose some employees they have now, some officers. So as you hire more officers and administrative, it's needed. What does that look like for the future? If this doesn't go through and this complex doesn't go through, all that training money you've put into those officers, they leave and then go somewhere else. I'm not saying an answer to any which way, but these are things that we should think about because it's been mentioned. If you put all that money into them and then they leave.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think we were trying to discuss what we as a select board wanna do for next week.
Yeah.
So can we continue with that
Okay, go ahead.
discussion?
Yeah.
Have we figured out the contractual piece yet?
For.
Long-term contract?
No,
No,
let's do that.
and he's gotta get us an answer too,
Yeah.
or we're gonna get another
That,
direction.
that,
Okay,
yeah,
yes.
that's a big deal.
That is a big deal, you're right, Joe, so, but get right after him, Brian, I mean, there's no need for him to take all 2-3 weeks for a reply, because we need to know that, because people are gonna ask us that question. And I don't have an answer, do you?
No, that's why I don't wanna go to a meeting where we can't answer the important questions
Yeah.
of, can we even do this long-term? So, okay.
And then we'll put together, you know, our costs for now, and, you know, maybe some of them, ideas where we had, different costs from other towns, just so people get an idea, you know, if you want this covered, I don't care who we get it from, we're gonna be paying quite a bit more than we're paying now.
And I do not, on the 10th, and you're the chair, I don't want there to be much discussion about other towns coming in, because we have no indication they're gonna step up to any increase.
That's
and-
true.
And if we put that out there, that it's a great idea, and, you know, Franklin's gonna join, and Highgate's gonna join, and they don't, our taxpayers are gonna be stuck with a bill.
Yeah, well.
That's all just thought, if it was such a great notion, you know, the Vermont State Police put that out there, that it's such a great thing, and where are they in helping us do it? They're not.
Here's the idea.
I know what the idea is,
You
Mr.
do
Chair.
it first, you do it first, you get them towns to agree before you go for the voters for money. Right now, it's, well, we're gonna, you know, let's get this going and then we'll bring them in. No, that's not the approach.
Okay, all right, let's,
You know?
let's make sure we stay that way.
You know,
Don't, let's not even plant the seed if we don't know that it's gonna grow.
you know, but I mean, that would be one viable option to make this affordable.
If they
I'm
would
not
agree,
saying it, that's right.
if they would agree, and they are suffering just like the rest of us
Oh, yeah, they
on
are.
what they pay annually for taxes.
Oh, yeah, they are, it's not easy anywhere.
Yep.
So,
I got a question over there.
Well, I kind of answered already. I was seeing what's the update on other towns going into the, like, getting services from the village.
other towns, this is an initial discussion, they're concerned about police protection and where it's gonna come from, okay? So, it would be a discussion we would have, there's no commitment anywhere.
Yes.
We, the town of Swanton is not the one who would make this happen.
No.
So that someone from the village should answer that question. How well and how far down the road are they in getting any type of regional coverage? We, as the select board, should not be touching it. That's one person.
We should be promoting that as a possible solution.
That's your
Go ahead,
opinion,
sir.
I would just like to add that I asked them that question at one of the open houses. Is there any way that they could stop what they're doing now, work on contracts and make sure that you have those contracts in place before you go forward with this and offset everybody's at the same time? And they said I was thinking too far in the future.
So that's what we got to deal with. Alright, we'll get that together, you can get something out by Friday, and then everybody else, everybody on the board, get their comments back to Brian if they'd like to see something else, or something that's been forgotten. And they have to get in there by Monday afternoon, next, cause Wednesday is the day, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Betty, do you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, is there anything else? No executive session, so I could entertain a motion to adjourn.
Upcoming events.
Oh, upcoming, that's your job, remember? I'll pass it on to you.
Upcoming events. Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, there will be a public hearing on expanded police coverage for the town at the Swanton Central School cafeteria at 7 p.m. It will also be available during Zoom. Wednesday night, January 10th, is the Planning Commission, 6:30 p.m. here at the town offices. There will be a special meeting on January 11th at 6 p.m. for the Town Selectboard to further discuss budgets. Monday, January 15, 2024, Martin Luther King Jr. holiday town offices and operations are closed. Tuesday, January 16, 2024, regular select board meeting at 6 p.m. here at the town offices. Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, the Planning Commission will meet at 6:30 here at the town offices. Thursday, January 25th, 2024, the Developmental Review Board will meet at 6 p.m. here at the town offices.
Done, excellent.
Mr. Chair, I had one thing. The engineer from P.E.G on the exit 21.
Yeah.
Didn't have any problem with, I just send a letter saying the board supports.
Yeah, but we wanna get reimbursed for all the information that they use from our sidewalk work. Cause they
Okay.
reference that sidewalk work numerous times in their presentation.
Alright. Yeah.
So we wanna get reimbursed, cause we had to pay for it.
Right. No, okay, so. Okay,
And let her know that the sign is still up there, pass with care. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Two things, let them know.
I will take care of that.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, just gonna ask you, but was there nothing for executive session, right?
No.
Okay, alright. Made a motion to adjourn?
I did.
Anybody wanna second it?
I will.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay?
Motion
Aye.
carried. Thank you.
Yeah, Earl?